What makes someone who's not an A-type personality want to stand up in front of a global audience and deliver a speech? It's the desire to share a passion, something that's greater than oneself. We all have passions, whether it's something kept close inside or well known by the people around us. But too often they play second fiddle to the demands of our daily lives unless something stops us. What stopped me was a brain tumor right here, which I jokingly refer to as my qualification for being a TEDx speaker. But it gave me a gift. It gave me the time to look inside myself to find out what's important. And what I'm passionate about is using the internet as a force for positive change, because it truly is the most powerful and amazing communications tool we have ever known. I've spent the past 14 years of my life designing and building some of the websites that market some of Hollywood's biggest movies. These projects are designed to create an emotional response in the viewer, because we know it's emotion that makes people want to take action, and it's emotion and sensory emotion that makes things memorable. When you think about some of the most memorable moments in your life, your first kiss, the birth of a child, or the passing of someone you love, chances are really good that heightened senses and heightened emotion were involved. But when you think of browsing the internet, do you think of that as an emotional experience? Probably not. Chances are you go online to maybe do some shopping, pay some bills, or as a replacement for TV. But if you have a cause or an issue that you're passionate about, that you want to promote online, you want to create a memorable, visceral experience for your audience so that they have something within them to take away with after seeing it. What this does is, when you do that, you end up appealing to a very powerful part of us. You bypass the cognitive mind, and you appeal to the place within us that is the source of our wants, needs, and desires. And this can be very powerful. If you're involved in the development or the creation of a website or an application, don't initially think of it as a website or an application. First, think of it as a human being. Think of this application as an entity with a head, a heart, and a body. And when you think about the head, you want to define the voice of who this entity is. For instance, movies, they all have unique voices. Martin Scorsese's Hugo, which was a story of a boy who lives in a train station in Paris, was innocent, wondrous, and historic. Or Peter Jackson's adaptation of The Lovely Bones, which follows the tale of a young girl after her brutal murder. It was tragic, ethereal, and healing all at the same time. Each one of these movies had their own unique voice, and everybody in the audience here has their own unique voice. And you really want to be honest about what that voice is, because then your audience online will feel like they're interacting with a real human being as opposed to a bunch of computer code. And moving on from the head to the heart, what does your website love? How does your website love? And in return, how is it loved? If we understand the love component, if you will, of this entity, then again, it's one step closer to having a real personal human interaction between the website and its audience. And then the body. You take care of how you look, right? And if your website is expected to stand up in front of thousands, potentially millions of people, shouldn't the same attention be placed upon its wardrobe as if it were going on a first date or getting married? And then finally, the whole package together. What's the story that you can write today? What's the vision that you can put in place today that will carry this entity 10, 20 years down the road? How's it going to be remembered? Who's it going to have affected? And how will it have been affected in return? If you follow these simple steps and create this underlying foundation, then you're well on the way to creating something online that has real, genuine human interaction with its audience. And that can be really powerful. So I want to just quickly take you through a few examples of people that I know who are doing this and using the internet to make our world a better place. Most of you may think that the way a woman gives birth is a human right, but in many places around the world, it's not. Often, they have no access to health care, and if they do, they're forced into hospital births where they are routinely cut without necessity and without consent. So, Hermine Hayes Klein is an American attorney who lives in Holland, and she had a wonderful experience giving birth to 2 healthy children at home with a midwife. After that, she decided to create the first ever conference in support of the rights of birthing mothers. So what Hermine is doing online with human rights in childbirth is creating a place where legal professionals, birth professionals, mothers, anyone really, can collaborate on these very important issues surrounding childbirth. Hermine is using the internet to increase our global awareness around the power of natural childbirth. A social issue that the web can shift is domestic violence. Currently, it's kind of an inefficient process to admit victims of domestic violence into the system that's set up to support them. So I have a friend, Hillary Larkin, who works at an emergency room in California, and she sees over 600 domestic violence and sexual abuse cases each year. So Hillary had the idea to create a web-based reporting tool, standardized reporting tool, that not only instantly notifies the police department with very valuable case information as soon as a victim is admitted into the hospital, but it's also building a database of very useful historical information surrounding the issue of domestic violence that can support that, the mitigation of domestic violence moving forward. So Hillary knows nothing about technology, but a close friend, Henry Ivey, does, and together, Henry and Hillary are using the internet to make the lives of domestic violence victims better, healthcare workers, and police officers through this process. In contrast to the national media, which is mostly full of bad news these days, I had the idea to create Good Machina, which is a social gratefulness platform that really focuses on showcasing everything that's right with the world based on individual human experience. And it does this by extracting data from the users' gratitude journals and creating visual murals to showcase what's going right in the world. So I'm using the internet to make my world better and hopefully make our world a happier and more grateful place. In all 3 of these projects, we're in the process of defining this persona, this character that's behind the scenes that will help make the communication of these websites and these applications more personal, more intimate, and therefore more powerful and connected. And this is the important part. The internet combined with real human emotion, intimate human connection. You know, if you think about, if you go online to a huge website like Amazon.com or eBay, there may be 1 million people accessing the website at one time, but the context is just you and the website. It's already set up. The context is already set up to be an intimate connection. So the internet combined with this human interaction is the most powerful place to tell our stories, broadcasting to this audience that we've never seen such a huge audience. And I think you'd agree that this is the greatest place to tell our stories, and the most important stories to tell are those that move another's heart or help each other grow. And the really cool thing about all of this is that anybody can participate in actively designing our future this way, because the tools are literally right at our fingertips. 1 or 2 people can create something that can have a huge impact worldwide. So the question is, with this amazing opportunity, how do we want our future to look? But more importantly, how do we want it to feel?